affordable housing. Target 11.2, affordable and sustainable transport system. 11.3, inclusive and sustainable urbanization. And 11.7, inclusive green and public spaces. And as Ichao mentioned, this is based on your own strategies, so you can reflect on what you are doing in your city, honorable mayors. And we have two different components. First, alignment and awareness. So whether you have mapped the SDGs targets to local government functions, when you have strategic visions or development plans. Also, whether you have tailored the targets to reflect community needs and ensuring alignment with local priorities, or whether you have fostered inclusive participation through partnership with NGOs, businesses, academia, etc. And then the second dimension is analysis and accountability. So, for example, if you are leveraging existing data to establish baselines, if you are strengthening data collection, implementing iterative monitoring and review processes, so these different aspects. So I think, honorable mayors, you can type yourself, but also you can just speak and we'll be typing for you. And the idea is to show what you are doing in these regards. Maybe we can go in order, starting first with safe and affordable.
Fernando,
Yes.
sorry, Mr. Fernando. The tab is very small.
Yes.
I can read.
Okay, yes. Also, I'm gonna paste the link again into the chat so you can also.
Is this any better, or should I zoom in more?
Okay.
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 So maybe you can start since you started speaking. Sorry. I mean, if you are ready, of course, no pressure. But because this is based on your own city and on your own experience, just to talk about alignment and awareness in relation to safe and affordable housing in Banda C. So if you have something, I mean, you can speak and we'll be typing, or if not, maybe Honorable Mayor Alfredo can also start, whichever one of you needs to volunteer. I think we also have the mayor from Suryodaya municipality, but the camera is not on. Are you also here? Okay.
Can I ask some guidance?
Yes. So this is mainly to reflect what you are doing for these 4 SDG targets in these 2 dimensions: alignment and awareness, and analysis and accountability. So, for example, let's focus first with one of them, and we can see in safe and affordable housing in terms of alignment and awareness. So do you have specific plans to safe and affordable housing? Do you have issues such as, for example, slums or settlements that you need to regulate, or unsafe areas that are more prone to natural disasters, so therefore that housing it's not safe? It could be depending how you are reflecting on this issue, and then analysis and accountability. So, for example, if you have specific plans to monitor, for example, number of affordable housing units in your community, or number of newly built affordable housing units. So how this works in your community. So it's areas that you are working on and how you are making this first target a reality in your city. So you have informal settlements, for example, that could follow under alignment and awareness, saying like in my community, we have a high number of informal settlements, or also we are a rapidly growing city, so we have the pressure of having to catch up with the demand because more people are coming to the city that we are able to provide. So depending on your context. So if anybody of you want to go ahead and
To clarify, for example, what you mentioned about rapid growing city and um, high risk families families in high risk spaces.
Mhm.
So in terms of alignment and awareness, uh, we will place what we are doing to make them aware that that they need to move.
On also alignment can also be regarding your own actions. So for example, we have a specific plan or we are in our master plan, we have a specific provision for addressing this problem. So it's awareness, like we are informing the communities, we are reaching out to stakeholders. I mean, it
Mhm.
can be also the wider stakeholders, like not only the people in the area, but also construction companies, the business,
Mhm.
local education institutions. So trying to see how you are working. So this is more tailored on your own problems.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
So for the analysis and accountability is the action, right?
This would be link more to monitoring and evaluation. So, for example, what kind of data do you have? So, if you are counting number of housing units at risk, or how, if you are creating partnerships to make it, and also how you are communicating your strategy to the affected people. So, how you are being accountable to your community.
Okay, got it. But the mirror is very small.
Yes, it's
How to use it? We
we,
cannot
we,
see
we
it.
yes, we can zoom in. Yes, but you already wrote here increase awareness on housing risk. So are you using specific methods like campaigns, social networks? I mean, you can also just speak. You can also just talk to us.
Oh, Fernando,
Yes, please go ahead, Honorable Mayor.
maybe like in Banda Aceh, of the capital city of Aceh, yeah, taking a
Mhm,
significant step toward ensuring safe and affordable housing.
mhm.
Maybe it's right about the building safety standard. Like after experiencing the devastating tsunami in 2004, Banda Aceh has prioritized the implementation of building code that ensure safety and resilience against natural disaster. This
Mhm.
include the use of quake resistant construction material and technique, and then community-based housing.
Yes.
The local government, in collaboration with NGOs, has initiated a community-based housing program that aim to provide affordable housing solution for low-income families. This program often incorporate local culture element and engage community member of design process, and then inclusion of vulnerable, and
Mhm.
then access to clean water and sanitation,
Yes.
healthcare facilities, uh, and then public transport and accessibility,
Mhm.
green space and recreational areas, like that, you mean?
Yes. Okay, I wait a sec. Thank you so much. Hannah, are you able to type or shall I be typing? I don't think I am trying in Miro, but I don't think I can type.
Let me check.
Yes, I think, okay, I think I can type. So, but if you can support with the note taking, I think that would be very helpful.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so you were talking that during the 2004 tsunami, you need to increase the risk, the safety of housing settlements, right?
Yeah, trust
Yes.
because and resilient again natural disaster.
Hmm.
Mm. And then the community-based housing.
Okay.
Uh, the program is the local government in collaboration with NGOs has initiated community-based housing program that aim to provide affordable housing solution for low-income families. This program often incorporate local culture element and engage community member in the design process.
Hmm.
All the communities, yeah, sit
Yes.
together.
Okay, so those could fall within alignment and awareness. So what are you doing in terms of analysis and accountability? How are you monitoring these programs or these actions?
With the BRR, apa, uh, with the organization from the um, rehabilitation and reconstruction
Hmm.
in Aceh, there are the BRR evaluation, all the program from the NGOs, local, international,
Hmm.
and different with the Japan. Like Japan, they're built on the government. In
Hmm.
Aceh, the from the all NGOs from international and have the target is 3 years. Yeah, just 3 years must done.
Okay.
In Japan, they make planning and they'll build with the own budgeting from
Hmm.
the government. So they can build more good than budget from the NGOs because the if the from NGOs they target the 1 year, 2 year like that.
Hmm. Okay, yes. Okay, so thank you so much. And I think also uh, uh, Mayor Alfredo has typed a few things here in analysis and accountability. If you can talk to us about them,
Yeah, wait.
yes, maybe we need to zoom in a bit more.
So I placed collaboration with National Housing Department and Environmental Department on available
Mhm.
land.
Okay.
One of the biggest issues for safe and affordable housing is land, especially with
Mhm.
the positioning of where my town is on the eastern side of the Philippines and getting 4 months of typhoon. So land analysis is very, very important. And only the national government has the manpower and capacity to conduct the um, land that can actually be used over a period of time that would be safe for families to transfer. And
Mhm.
to be able to accommodate the lifestyle and quality of life, we conducted, I think it was a 5 to 7 year study on how to do resettlement based on local culture, local practices, and norms.
Mhm.
We knew since the data we obtained in 2011 puts many families in coastal areas and island communities at risk. We already tried to understand how resettlements can be done in our local setting, considering again culture, norms, and practices. Then the last is we have started a housing program, initially targeting the poor and the vulnerable families, which means it's not really affordable because we have to give it for free. Otherwise, we will have more slums, considering our sudden growth rate in terms of tourism-based economies.
Mhm. Yes. So that's a big challenge of trying to manage the slums and communities, and as you mentioned, being in a coastal areas with you are in threat of climate disasters and trying to find for affordable housing, which is quite challenging. Okay, so I think, do you want to elaborate in target 11.1, or shall we move to, if you have any other action that you are doing or that you want to work, either of you, we can discuss this, or if not, we can move on to the next target. So I think we can, yeah, we can go to target 11.2, Hannah, yeah, to the right, yeah, the orange one. Okay, thank you. So, so in this case, we are going to talk about affordable and sustainable transport system. So, so how are you working in your city with affordable and sustainable transport systems, either depending what you have and the structure of your city, how much people are using it, so how this is working. I see Honorable Mayor Alfredo is already um, typing as well, but maybe if the Honorable Mayor Elisa from Bandase wants to say something, maybe we can start. Maybe give you a few minutes, a few seconds to think about. So maybe, so maybe Mayor Alfredo, if you have already typed something, so maybe you can elaborate what you have been typing, and we
Uh,
give.
yes, for affordable and sustainable transport systems, we are currently reviewing options for e-transport due to high cost of fuel because in the island, from the main island going to the island communities, the cost of fuel is plus 40%.
Okay.
It
Mhm.
makes it very, very expensive.
Yeah.
And so we reached out to the national government to review options for within island and across island uh, transport options.
Mhm.
Particularly since we are really increasing in terms of tourism,
Mhm.
we are the first island in the Philippines with a planned international airport and an active international cruise ship port. So how to
Mhm.
move people around if you have more people coming in than people that are actually living there.
Yeah. That's always a challenge of how to balance the tourism. And as you mentioned, if you have more tourists than the number of people living in the island, that
Yeah,
adds a lot of problem to the transport infrastructure, because most oftentimes transport is designed for the number of people living. And once you have a big increase in the number of tourists with the big suitcases, the families crying
mm,
children makes things harder. So that's always challenging. And also having the different islands, and it's true that the transport usually gets more expensive when you get in different locations or more farther away from the center.
yes.
So,
So for analysis and accountability,
mhm,
we have already started public transport using hybrid as an experiment so far. But because of our topography that's a bit hilly,
yes.
it's very challenging for the current available technology that was presented to us, it's not enough to bring if the weight of the passengers is a bit high, the vehicle becomes very unstable. So very
Mhm.
very scary. And we're also
Yes.
discussing new policies across municipalities and within district in the island, so that for the transport sector there is no repeat and increased cost in terms of doing business.
Mhm. Yes. I find very interesting what you said about the topography of being in a hilly area. I am from the very flat land part of Spain, so for me, any mountain is always a challenge, any hill. So I understand the struggle. So, and yes, it's trying to bring hybrid vehicles. That's a very important thing. So maybe, Honorable
Fernando,
Mayor, yes,
Banda
please go ahead. Yes.
in Banda Aceh City, we have free transportation service for the community,
Okay.
like accessibility for all, and then convenient road, user-friendly experience, environmental benefits, economic opportunities, community
Mhm.
engagement, and feedback. Uh, yeah, I think free transportation services are a vital component
Mhm.
of urban development that promote inclusivity, accessibility, and sustainability by eliminating transportation costs and enhancing connectivity. The service contributes significantly to the overall development and well-being of the community in Banda Aceh, ensuring that all residents can participate fully in the social, economic, and cultural life of the city.
Mhm.
After the tsunami, and then we have the smart city, like smart city with the
Yes.
uh, smart people for smart cities, like that.
Mhm.
Maybe for the transportation, yeah, sustainable transport option promotion, electrical vehicles, integration of public and private transport, like that, community engagement. We involvement in planning. The local government engage community members in the planning and decision-making process regarding transportation infrastructure, ensuring that the resident needs to preference are considered. Is it like that you mean?
Mhm. Okay, so you've also talked quite a bit about engaging with residents and taking into account their preference for transport, which
Yeah.
is also an important issue. And I guess you also need to conduct different ways of stakeholder engagement to get their input and meet their needs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talk investment in public transport, the promotion of non-motorized transport, effective traffic management, and community engagement. Banda
Mhm.
Aceh aimed to create a more livable city that support economic growth while reducing environmental impact. This effort
Mhm.
reflect to commitment to ensuring safe, affordable, and sustainable transport option for all residents.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So then, in terms of analysis and accountability, you mentioned that you are in community engaging with community, which is also a form of accountability. But how are you also using to analyze or monitor the implementation of these measures? Uh, Major Elisa, maybe, or you can you elaborate a little bit of the analysis and for the part of analysis and accountability of how these ideas translate into analysis. And also, I see that in the chat, uh, Siriodaya municipality has replied, so I can also copy this into another posit. Right here. So, Honorable Mayor Eliza, do you have anything to add to hearing analysis and accountability, or shall we move to the next target?
Next, maybe.
Okay. So, if we can move to the target 11.3, I see that Honorable Mayor Alfredo has already started typing, so maybe he can also elaborate, and we follow with Mayor Eliza later on. So just for a reminder, we are talking about target 11.3, which deals with inclusive and sustainable urbanization. So, for example, Honorable Mayor Alfredo, how are you working on this?
Yeah, for us, we are doing redevelopment strategies
Mhm.
to consider spreading of the impact of tourism
Okay.
to other areas, not just to the compacted urban community.
Mhm.
So we are pushing to develop new tourism packages
Mhm.
so that the growth of urban development will also be spread towards another area.
Okay.
Then we are also increasing access to public services and engagement, regardless of location. So that's our approach in terms of urbanization, especially with digital infrastructure,
Mhm.
social media transparency. So a lot of efforts are being placed on our concept of inclusivity is also allowing others, especially in the Philippine context, wherein we have many Filipinos working overseas,
Mhm.
that they can still continue engagement with the public sector.
Okay, yes. So that's also talking with the population that is away, but they're still connected to the local community, and having these online platforms to inform and to disseminate activities in sustainable urbanization, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
And,
Fantastic.
and for our actions, we are now creating new roads based on our feedback that
Mhm.
we have gathered from different stakeholders. So they identified new areas for possible movement of urbanization. Not we are not there is a law in our place that we cannot allow a building higher than 10 meters. So
Mhm.
we really need to move and spread
Yeah.
urbanization to a bigger space. So we are maximizing spaces.
Mhm. Okay. So is that law a national law limiting the
It's
height?
a national law,
It's a
yes.
national law. Okay.
Specific to places like ours with which are identified as key biodiversity areas.
Yes. So you need to,
Dari sana.
in your case, inclusive urbanization is also includes animals and biodiversity to make it more respected to the environment. So that's also very important.
Yes, yes. So it's a
Yes.
bit challenging.
Yes.
Should we add that in analysis and accountability?
I think so.
Okay.
Yes.
Mm.
Because I am aware that once you are tackling issues of biodiversity, it's also you have a lot of different pieces in the puzzle, like um, to work with to in order to create a more sustainable way of urbanization. So it creates a very complex picture because you need to take into account tourism, biodiversity, community engagement, urbanization, while also trying to prepare rapid transport options. So, okay. So we are here, and then
Banda
Honorable
Aceh?
Elisa, do you want
Yeah.
to? Yes?
Nah, maybe, yeah, okay. Banda Aceh is actively working toward inclusive and sustainable urbanization to ensure the city develop in the manner that equitable, resilient, and environmental friendly. The lesson learned from the past challenges, particularly the 24 tsunami, get its urban planning initiative aimed at the fostering a city where all residents have the opportunity to drive the key strategies for inclusive and sustainable urbanization. The first one, participatory urban planning, community engagement. The city administration encourage the participant from the resident and the urban planning process. Community consultation and workshop are conducted to gather input and feedback, ensuring that local needs and aspiration are reflected in the development plan. And then equitable distribution of the resources. Emphasis is placed on the distributing resources and services equitable across different neighborhoods, ensuring that marginalized, the underserved, the communities are included in the development pipeline, and then mixed-use development, integration of residential and commercial spaces, and affordable housing initiative. The CC focus on the creating affordable housing option that cater to diverse income level, therapy, promotion social inclusion, and preventing urban sprawl, and then sustainable infrastructure like the green building practices, and then transport system improvement, and then green and public space like the development of park and natural areas, and then the community garden and urban agricultural, and then disaster risk reduction, resilient urban design, education awareness program, by prioritizing inclusive and sustainable urbanization. Banda Aceh aspire to create the city has values diversity and promote equitable opportunities for all the residents, so communities participation, sustainable practices, and improve infrastructure. Banda Aceh is on the path toward the resilient urban environment that can adapt to future challenges while enriching the life of the inhabitant. Maybe like that in Banda Aceh.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing how Banda Aceh is working on sustainable urbanization. And I think that something that was coming across how you were talking about sustainable urbanization is that this target, 11.3, it's a target that works across probably all different aspects of SDG 11, because once you are creating sustainable urbanization, you are also talking about housing communities, transport, participatory planning. So this is a central target that probably it's helping you to work across all different aspects. So some of the key elements that I think you mentioned is equitable distribution of resources, trying to work across all the different aspects and having all like the leave no one behind motto of the SDG, affordable housing, which we have talked already before, green and public spaces, which is something we are going to talk in our final target. So this is working and also across SDG 11, but also it's very important for other SDGs, because as I hope you remember when Professor Yang was showing a circular diagram with SDG 11 and how SDG 11 was being connected to other different SDG targets. So for example, when you were talking about equitable distribution of resources, that's also connected to SDG 10 on reduced inequalities. When you are talking, both of you mean Major Alfredo was talking about biodiversity, that's also affecting SDG 15 on life on land and SDG 14, which for an island community, life below water is a very important aspect because you are surrounded by water, so you have a very big impact on SDG 14. So I think this is very important to see how all your actions are actually working across the different SDGs. So is there anything else either of you want to elaborate here? No? Just because, so quickly, because Suryodaya,
No,
yes? Please go ahead.
no,
No, okay.
enough.
Yes. So just because I don't know if you have seen the chat, but Suryodaya municipality has prepared land use zoning in participatory approach. I mean, the mayor is I'm not able to join, but they are typing up in the chat box, so we can also quickly. I will also quickly read it. So in Suryodaya municipality, they have prepared a land use zoning using a participatory approach to tackle the issue of inclusive and sustainable urbanization. And these land use zoning regulations are enforced to control land subdivision, balanced development in urban and rural worlds, and also working in capacity development provided to engineers and sub-engineers on GIS-based planning tools. So I think this is also important here to see how another aspect is the land use zoning and how you can use land use zoning to promote more inclusive and sustainable urbanization in your cities. So thank you so much to the representative from Suryodaya municipality for typing the response. And I also invite you to keep typing for our final target. So I think we can now talk about target 11.7, which is about inclusive, green, and public spaces, which this is also one of the most important uh, areas of sustainable urban development and of cities. So maybe we can proceed using the same mechanisms first, since Mayor Alfredo has already typed. Maybe he can describe a little bit what Del Carmen is doing. And later on, Honorable Mayor Elisa can elaborate what Banda is doing in this regard. If you think this is okay, we can proceed. So thank you so much. Mayor, the floor is yours.
So let me just highlight two items that we are doing. One is we really do a conservation first policy.
Mhm,
And so with that, we were able to create natural parks, mangrove parks, marine protected parks, and watershed parks. And we also pushed for a children's park as part of our play policy to make sure that children are in open spaces, not just inside and their houses,
mhm,
especially in urban development. And second is if we want them out in green spaces, we need to make sure that they feel safe. So we put
mhm,
a lot of focus on peace and order, increasing investments in CCTVs and police engagements, mobility, and all.
mhm,
So the analysis and accountability is, of course, the development of parks, museums and events. Museums are very new to us, so we're still in the development process.
mhm.
And of course, events for ensuring culture
Yeah.
and heritage are not forgotten, regardless of urbanization influences coming from west and other areas. Um, and also, we wanted to make sure that we are at par with global standards. So we try to apply our parks to be assessed for national and international recognition. So our mangrove areas, for example, are now Ramsar uh, um, listed as a wetland of international significance. Our marine protected areas are recognized as part of Coastal 500, and so on and so forth. So that's about.
Yes, thank you so much. I think this also relates to your past contribution about the importance of biodiversity. So you have, as you mentioned, the conservation first policy that you need to be aware of how urbanization are affecting biodiversity in Del Carmen, but also it's important this creating children's parks and plays for children, for them to grow, develop, and also have this connection with nature, which is very important to create spaces where children feel safe and also parents feel safe to leave their children play and to. It's very important for them growing up and creating some focus on peace and order with CCTV, police engagement to ensure that people using children, elderly women, those who might feel more in danger, can also walk in the park and don't be threatened. And in ICU, you are now developing museums and events, so it's important to also try to creating these things that this kind of infrastructure, social infrastructure that are useful for the community, but also for the tourist, which I believe is an important part of your economic activities. So if anything, if nothing else, I think we can let the floor to Honorable Mayor Ilyas.
The Banda Aceh, the capital city of Aceh Province in Indonesia, is committed to the developing inclusive green and public space and part of its urban planning strategy. This initiative emphasizes social equity, environmental sustainability, and community wellness. The first one, social cohesion, like importance of green and public space. Green space foster community interaction, bridging together people from the first background, and public space the first venue for the cultural event, social gathering, and recreational activities, and environmental benefit like green space help mitigate urban health, improve air quality, and promote biodiversity. They play a crucial role in management stormwater runoff and reduction flooding, especially important for the cities prone to heavy rainfall. And then health and well-being, like access to green space, contribute to physical and mental health benefit, encouraging outdoor activities such as exercise and relaxation. Well-designed public area can reduce stress, promote overall well-being, and then we have strategies for developing inclusive green and public space, community engagement involving local communities in the planning and design process, ensure that space meet the needs and preferences of the diverse user group. Workshop and survey can gather input on the preferred facilities, activities, and design, and also about the equitable access, like ensuring that green space are accessible to all segments of the public population, including marginalized group and individual with disabilities. Design future like ramp, wide pathway, and well proportionate seating can enhance accessibility. And then preservation of local heritage, integrating local culture and history into the design of the green space can enhance social connection and pride. Incorporating native plant and traditional design can strengthen the culture identity. And then multifunctional space, like design public space to accommodate various activities like playgrounds, sports facilities, communities, garden, increases their usability and appeal. And then flexible space can adapt to different communities' needs over time. Case studies, for example, like Taman Sari Park, an example of the successful green space that promote community engagement, featuring walking path, play areas, and gathering sport, community gardening initiative, encouraging local residents to participate in the community garden that not only beauty beautify the area, but also provide fresh produce and promote community bonding. And then the challenges and solution: limited funding. Securing adequate funding can be challenging. Partnership with NGOs or private sector can provide additional resources. And then maintenance, establishing community, and then urbanization pressure, balancing development, the prevention of green space through smart urban planning, regulation, and policies. The Banda Aceh commitment to inclusive green and public space reflect its dedication to building a livable, sustainable, equitable, urban, environmental, continuous engagement with the community, and proactive planning can result in vibrant public areas that several residents while promoting environmental sustainable. Maybe like that, Mr. Fernando. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I think there is a lot to unpack here. First, I think that once again, your response has shown how this target works across many different SDGs. You mentioned community wellness and community wellness, physical exercise. You also mentioned mental health, which are all targets also linked to SDG 3 of health and well-being. So how public spaces is a very important part, and for you also mentioned community bonding, for creating community. People meet in public spaces, they get together, people talk. So it's a very important aspect to creating this community bonding. And for example, you mentioned the community gardens and helping community participation. So which also, if it gives fresh vegetables or fresh produce, that's also linked to SDG 2 on zero hunger. So we can see here how the different initiatives that you are taking in Banda Aceh to work on this target 11.7 on green and public spaces are helping you to localize or advance a wide range of SDGs and targets, and trying to bring a lot benefits to the community that are not constrained only to just creating a park. So I think one of the key elements, at least for me, that we have seen today through this scenario exercise is that we have seen how SDG 11 is central to your actions and trying to create a more sustainable urbanization with housing, public spaces, and transport. It's probably the central of your strategy of how this is interconnected to all of the aspects. So we have 3 more minutes, and before anything else, we have to one volunteer needs to represent the group in the plenary. So if before we shut down the breakout room, does any of you honorable mayors want to volunteer to report back?
I think the good mayor from Indonesia was very articulate in her plans. Mayor, would you be willing to share your programs? We are learning a lot from you.
I would like to give the mayor of speaker because I could not focus on the metric on the screen. It is too small. Oh.
We need one volunteer, so please, one of you needs to decide. And also, so if we can agree with like one of you, if not, it's okay. I mean, you just can.
Yeah, Mayor Del Carmen, maybe please.
No, I really think you should be the one because you were articulating better. Because we are still growing, you are already in a position to share more. We are actually taking a lot of notes from what you're sharing. So please do the honors. Thank you so much. We will help. We will help. I'm pretty sure Professor Fernando will help.
Maybe Professor Fernando is more good.
No, no, it has to be one of the majors. It has to be one of you. It cannot be me. I can support. I will always support, but one of you needs to decide. It's okay. So it's just to report back. So whoever, if not, I will just call a name. So
Okay.
who is gonna be? Okay, Honorable Major Elisa, can you do it? Honorable Major Elisa, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will try.
Yes, thank you so much. So we have one more minute, but just before that, the Suryodaya municipality, they have also wrote in the chat, so they have mentioned that more than 40% of their land is covering with tea gardens, and the city has been constructing food trails around the tea gardens to create tourism and creating fitness parks open for society and also road sea tree plantation programs. So thank you so much to all of you for participating. Honorable Mayor Elisa, we will be waiting for your summary. It was a pleasure being with this breakout room today. I've learned a lot, so I think we can go back to the plenary. So see you there. See you in a second.